Hey there. Welcome to our demo on Restore Veeam M365 Backup to Veeam Vault using an intermediary alternate location in the same M365 organization. We've launched Storage Guardian's Veeam2Veeam Vault migration tool. It helps migrate Exchange M365 mailboxes and SharePoint sites from your Veeam M365 backups to Veeam Vault using alternate locations. Alternate locations act as temporary mailboxes and sites that hold data before it's backed up to Veeam Vault. In the Tools settings, you can configure the Veeam M365 Server REST API endpoint, Microsoft 365 credentials, and the Veeam M365 Tenant App ID with its app certificate for authentication. The tool then asks you to select either all restore points or a couple of the restore points to migrate. Here we will select 2 restore points for the demo. Finally, we select 2 mailboxes in the backup that we like to migrate to alternate location and then click Select Mailbox to Restore button. This opens a new dialog where you select the Office 365 Exchange license to create intermediary mailboxes that temporarily hold the data to be migrated. If the number of free licenses is less than the mailboxes to migrate, the migration will run in groups. We also select the suffix used in the intermediary mailboxes and thread count for concurrency. Click Stat button to start migration. We can now see that the 2 mailboxes to be migrated are being created, and once the mailboxes are created, the Office 365 Exchange licenses gets applied to both the mailboxes. The tool then waits for about 2 minutes to allow the new licensed mailbox changes to propagate across the servers. After 2 minutes, the restore of mailboxes from the Veeam M365 backup's oldest restore point to the alternate location, that is, the intermediary mailboxes, begins. Once the first restore point of the 2 mailboxes to the intermediary mailboxes is completed, a message box appears. This message box informs the user to back up the intermediary mailboxes to the destination, in this case, Veeam Vault. After completing the backup of these intermediary mailboxes to the destination, click OK in the message box to start restoring the second restore point. After a few minutes, the second restore point is also restored to the intermediary mailboxes. Once again, it's time to back up the 2 intermediary mailboxes to the destination. When the backup of intermediary mailboxes to the destination is complete, it is time to click the OK button to end the migration. The migration tool now deletes the intermediary mailboxes and frees up the licenses allocated to them. Let's now close this dialog and return to the main window to start the migration of SharePoint sites from the Veeam M365 backups. As we did in the mailbox migration, we select the Veeam backup that contains the SharePoint sites, the restore points to be migrated, and the SharePoint sites we want to migrate. For our demo, we will select 2 restore points and 2 SharePoint sites in the backup. Click Select Sites to Restore button. This will launch a new dialog window where can select the sites to be restored, the intermediary site suffix and maximum concurrency to control parallel restores. We also have the option to make the process unattended. We click the Start button to start the migration process. Firstly, the two intermediary SharePoint sites are created with the suffix added to the original site name as selected in the dialog. Thereafter, the site admin and site owner are added to the intermediary sites. A PowerShell script is then run to clean up the intermediary mailboxes. Once that is done, the actual restore of sites from the backup to intermediary site begins. After some time, depending on the size of the sites, the restore to the intermediary site is completed for the first restore point, which is also the oldest restore point. As with the Exchange mailboxes, a message box appears informing the user to back up the intermediary sites to the destination. Once you have backed up the intermediary sites to the destination, click the OK button to start restoring the second restore point. Soon the second restore point is also restored to the intermediary sites, and it is time to take a backup of the intermediary sites to the destination. When you are done with backup, click the OK button to start the cleanup process that involves deleting the intermediary sites. The deletion process might take some minutes to complete. The cleanup completed message indicates that the migration process has finished, and you now have 2 restore points for the 2 SharePoint sites in your destination backup. This concludes our demo. Thank you for joining us.